All right, we're back here on Studio 40 Live, ready to go. Talk a little beam time action. I'm fired up. And look at what's going on here.
Your boy's here.
Your boy here.
Your boy.
Here.
I'm glad you guys got me on. Yeah. It's the stretch run of the season. You're like, we got to boost the guest.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, exactly.
Guest
so
profile,
here, right?
I love it. Kyle Draper, you've heard his voice. You've seen him on the show. He hosts all that good kind of stuff. So you're here ready to go. Thanks for coming in. Before we get anything rolling, would you light our beam?
I would like to.
We'll count it down. You got to bring some luck to this.
All right.
Because this beam can change the trajectory of the next week or so of the season.
It's happening.
Right, I got the good
some
vibes.
pressure. So we're going to count you down. 3, 2, 1. Kyle Draper lights the beam. Yes!
Oh, yes, and everything turns purple.
That was probably the most aggressive beam hit we've had.
Does the beam still work, by the way?
I've been waiting 3 seasons to light the beam, so finally, thank you. I appreciate that.
We're good to go. Fantastic. All right, let's get right to it. I know we don't want to. We're just going to touch on it for a second. I was at that game last night. Man, oh, man. What is it? Because it was a back-to-back, but the Knicks came in and just demolished it.
Yeah, it's a number of different reasons why what happened last night happened. Yeah. First of all, back-to-back. You know, by the time we landed, guys went into the arena and got treatment, the facility. Guys didn't get home till about 3 o'clock. Secondly, the style of basketball New York plays. They're a physical team. They like to slap you up, smack your arms and everything like that. And it just seemed like we were running in mud a lot yesterday. New York seemed like the fresher team, the quicker team. And so the Kings have been playing at such a high level over the last few weeks that they were kind of due for a clunker, I guess. It hurts because we're coming off a tough loss against the Clippers the night before.
Tough, man. We wanted to, as much as we didn't want to talk about this and we don't want to talk about that, it was a good game. I think everybody felt like the Kings showed out. The Clippers are a good opponent. But, I mean, this was, I don't know, as crushing as it gets, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're up 7, with about 1:48 left to go. You're feeling good about your team, feeling great. But you got to give the Clippers a lot of credit, man. Kawhi Leonard made a hell of a shot.
He did.
At the end in overtime right there. To your point, Scott, I do think it was a fantastic game. It was 2 teams at the time separated by half the game. The stakes were high, and it was a heavyweight fight. And give the Clippers credit. They got the bounce at the end. Like the Zach LaVine shot, if that falls, we're feeling incredibly differently about it. And so a tough loss the other day.
Yeah, right at regulation of Zach's fall.
Right there.
It's good to go, but then it goes to overtime, and then Kawhi it's not really doing much that game, and then out of nowhere, he throws that up, and when I saw it bounce on the iron, I'm like, good, it's bouncing out, but his bounce is in, and the game's over.
Oh, so you felt the same way I did. Yeah. At first, when he shot it, I'm like, oh, he missed it.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, it dropped in, and I'm like, what the? But you got to think about it. They got 2 of the game's best 75 players. They got MVPs on the team. And so, I came out of that game bummed. I was sad. I was upset we lost, but I wasn't angry because I felt like we fought hard. We played extremely well. We just came up short that night.
All right. Yeah. Coming up short, obviously when you have personnel changes and things going on. I know LaRavia was out last night. Yeah. He got a little banged up. Malik just back. Obviously, there's a little bit of transition time sometimes with that. Domas, do you have any thoughts, insight? What's going on there? What are we looking and waiting for with Domas?
Yeah, he has that hamstring injury, and the team is supposed to update his status today. He's supposed to be reevaluated today. He's back, participating in one-on-one, doing some drills actually on the court. But we definitely miss him. Valanciunas has been fantastic, no doubt about it. But we run a lot of our offense through Domantas Sabonis, and sometimes you see the offense bogged down like we saw last night. And so Doug Christie made an interesting point after the game last night, an interesting analogy, guys. He says, we're flying the plane right now, but we're trying to fix the plane while it's in the air. Like that's what they're doing. They're trying to make some fixes on the fly here, and it's going to take some time. And so here we are in 9th place right now. Hopefully Domas comes back for Thursday's game. Hopefully Jake's back and we can get fully healthy.
You got a big run, too, of home games coming up. I see we're looking at the standings there. Obviously, it's all mashed up. There's only a couple games really separating these teams. But really, March, they head out, on the road. You guys leave. You go to, Oakland, or not Oakland, Bay Area. And then to Phoenix.
Yep.
And then it feels like back for a lot of home games, which the Kings really could take advantage of.
Yeah, I think there's about 7 home games in a row for Sacramento, but they're all against tough teams. You got Memphis coming in. You got Boston coming in, Milwaukee, OKC, Cleveland. I know. I'm taking it one game at a time, boys. One game at a time. Let's get this win Thursday against the Warriors.
I know. I'm looking at the whole schedule ahead. I'm like not going one game at a time. Well, you should, though. I'm like looking at it.
That's why he's a pro.
Right, exactly. I'm not. But when I look at that whole schedule, I look at the whole thing like that, I'm adding things up, right? And what do you think? I'm thinking that I think they need to win 10 more games to get in. I think you need 43 wins. What do you think, 42, 41? I think
I'm always
43
bad at
because these teams are so good.
Yeah, I wasn't a math major, but I'm looking at it. We're as close to 6th spot as we are to the 10th spot right now, 3.5 games.
Yeah.
And so the 11th spot, 3.5 games.
Yeah.
And so I think when I look at the schedule, I know it's going to be hard. But we went into Boston and we beat the Celtics in Boston. Like, this team is capable of beating any team. We just need to get some consistency and get on a little bit of a run, maybe a 3, 4, 5 game winning streak here over this next week, and things will be okay.
You guys, are you heading to are you doing this next swing?
I'm not. So Thursday is a TNT game.
Oh, that's right.
Nationally
That's right,
televised
against the
against
Warriors.
Steph Curry and the Warriors. So we got to get that one.
Got to get that one, yes.
And then Mark is doing the game Friday. Then I think I'm back in the saddle on Monday.
So you're playing a little golf this week.
Yeah, I need to, bro. Like, the weather is nice.
Good left-handed hack.
Tomorrow's not going to be good weather, but maybe, he can
This
squeeze some
weekend,
in time.
maybe,
The weekend
yeah.
should be pretty good.
I was going to play today, but
How was the
TV
game?
show to do.
How was the game? Exactly. Like, I'm going to go do this and
Yeah,
zap him.
oh, man, I gotta be
apologize
here.
we made you
Right.
come for that because golf is always number one. How was the game, by the way, the golf game?
Terrible. It's terrible.
not good.
It's
not good.
terrible. Although I want to give a shout out to my son.
Yeah.
He plays on the Vista Del Lago junior varsity team.
Oh, so he whoops you.
Yeah, he had a 43 yesterday on 9 holes, which is solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's sophomore at Vista, and so he's better than me. I won't acknowledge that to him. but he smacks it out.
Well, the
there,
genetics
you
are
know?
coming from somewhere.
Right, exactly.
I mean, come on.
exactly. You know how it is. It's like evolution. You know,
Yes.
with each generation, they get better and better, and he's a little bit better than
He's
me
a
right
little bit. Just a little.
Before we let you go, I got to ask. Speaking of better and better, are you of the mindset that this team continues? Will the plane continue to be repaired in the air? Is this team? Are we still soaring, or are we at a plateau? How are you?
No,
Look at you with the Christie.
I know, right? I think we're still soaring because look at it historically in the NBA, guys. You don't just throw together a mix of players and all of a sudden they're championship contenders. You know, it's not a microwave society we live in. I look at Denver with Michael Malone. It took him 3 years to make the playoffs. I look at Boston. They had to tinker and tweak their roster before they finally broke through. And so I think the Kings are in a similar situation. Still soaring, still trying to figure it out.
So the pieces are there.
Yes.
You're saying the pieces are
The
there.
foundation is there.
Okay,
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes.
We got to get back to the glory days.
I saw you though. You were upset
Right?
last night. This guy's working hard. I'm like screaming my guts out, and you're like, I could tell you were.
I was
you
like
were
this.
annoyed in section 107.
And there was guys behind me screaming. There was a Knicks guy over there. I'm just like, this is not good.
You were
not
salty,
good.
salty the whole game.
Right?
KD, you
Wasn't
do
a
a
good one.
great job, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
fellas.
you what
Thank
you
you.
do for this town, for this city, for the team. So great to have you, and we love you on this show too. So come back.
Thank you. Anytime.
He
Anytime.
lit the
and
beam,
over.
man. We got to go on a streak now.
That's true.
Yeah, he did
It's
it.
all him. Thursday the 13th, that TNT game, as he said, against the Warriors. Suns then the next night, the 14th in Phoenix. Kings.com for a little more info on the web.
We'll be right back.